Hello, my name is Janie Honeycutt with New Leaf Training and Development, and I'm here to introduce my friend Paul Butler, who's going to talk to us about finance for non-financial managers. Paul, tell us what this program is all about.
Well, shock horror, it kind of does what it says on the tin, finance for non-financial managers. I can definitely commit whether this is an on-site or an online session that people won't be bored. Essentially, the framework of the program, we start off with what we call a pop quiz, which is where we kind of level set on the terminologies, because one of the things that we tend to do in finance is use a lot of terminologies that are different terminologies that can essentially mean the same thing. And whether the client organization is a manufacturer, a retail business, or a service business, some of that terminology can also change as well. So we demystify and level set on that. We also then look at the income statement, also known as the profit and loss account, looking at the major attributes of that. Most importantly, connecting people's work to the income statement. The balance sheet as well. We look at that and do the same thing, connect people's work to the balance sheet. And the whole principle underneath the program is, gosh, can you imagine a business if everyone working in the business is working as if they own the business? Last couple of things that we do in the program is to look at the delta, the difference between management accounting and financial accounting, which, depending on the organizational structure and how they share information, can sometimes add to the confusion. So we clarify and demystify that. We look at this thing called the seven components of business financial intelligence. You'll never guess why it's called the seven components. It's because the seven of them, and I think that's a very balanced, holistic way of looking at business, regardless of the entity type. And then finally, we finish up the session by doing some jargon busting, these commonly heard and yet commonly misunderstood terminologies. It's really, dare I say, a fun packed session.
Wonderful. And Paul, tell us a little bit more about your credibility to facilitate such a subject.
Yes, certainly. So I'm an international version of a CPA. A lot of people say to me, gosh, you got far too much personality to be a CPA. No offense to my fellow CPAs. I qualified with PwC, or Coopers and Lybrand as it was then, out of London in the United Kingdom. And I'm honored to say in the last few years, I've become a chartered global management accountant, which is a marriage between my original qualification and the American Institute CPA, which is here we shorten it just to CPA. I think most importantly is the real world experience I've had both in Europe. I've lived and worked in four countries in Western Europe, and then over here for a couple of years initially with Hilton Honors, which is now the world's largest loyalty program. I came over as the finance director for a couple of years to cover a long-term sick leave for an individual. And then in the last, at the time of recording this, last 20 years with New Leaf, we've now worked with clients in 9 countries and 28 states in the arena of things like, for example, business acumen, specifically finance for non-financial managers.
Great, great. And Paul, I obviously know you, but tell us a little bit more about Paul outside of work.
Well, I'm very introverted.
Clearly.
Yes, I'm delighted to say my wife and I have been married since 1994, and we've got two now adult children who I'm delighted to say are officially off the family payroll and are now both tax-paying citizens themselves. We live in Southern California. We're US citizens now. We absolutely love living here. I know faith is a very personal thing, but church is very important to me and my family. And just on a fun personal level, I really enjoy long distance cycling. And my wife and I have actually set ourselves a goal to do a half marathon in every state, mainly so we can eat In-N-Out Burger every week.
It's a wonderful goal. Well, Paul, thank you very much for the insight behind this program. We know it's going to be beneficial to all the participants. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Janie.